music expands a child's mind, but when is a good time to introduce your child to instruments?
Well, joining us now to inform parents about making the right choices is Paul Sweet. He's a representative from Mississippi Music. Hey, Paul.
Hey.
How are you? So,
I'm doing great.
How about that? So, what is a good time to introduce your child to a musical instrument?
Absolutely. Well, usually in terms of school band instruments like we have here, usually about the 6th grade, they'll sign up to be in the band class at school, and the directors will actually have a really special event called an instrument fair. So this is something where the kids actually get to try out every instrument, see what they can actually make a fundamental sound on, see what they enjoy, and then the director talks with the child and the parents and figure out, you know, what works best for them and what also works best for the band, because, you know, it wouldn't really do good if there was 20 trumpet players and 2 saxophones or vice versa. So that's kind of essentially how it gets started in most occasions.
I remember doing that.
Yeah.
And the instrument that worked best for me and everybody else was the clarinet.
Awesome.
So that's what I ended up with.
Sometimes.
So everybody's going to grow up and be a Pete Fountain.
Right.
But how about that, though? Okay, so you're in 6th grade, though. I mean, my daughter also became a clarinetist and did real well with it for a while. But, you know, these things are expensive. In 6th grade, you want to go out, you really don't want to go pop $2,000 for an instrument.
Right, absolutely, yeah. Music is definitely an investment, right? So one of the great things that we offer, you know, once a kid decides and the parents decide which instrument they're going to play, we invite them to come to our store there just off of Lakeland Drive, and we go over with the options about how they can do that. One great way most parents like is our rent-to-own plan, because it lets them actually be able to return the instrument if they need to, if it doesn't work out, and then they can also pay it off early if they want to. They can also, it's fully covered for repairs, replacement, even if something crazy happens to it, and even lets them upgrade the instrument later down the road if they need to, which we can talk about more of that in a second. But the most important thing by far is getting a good quality instrument, investing in that, because a natural tendency for a lot of us when we want to get something, we just go online, find the cheapest thing we can get and buy that, and especially with this, because they might not know how their child's going to do with it, so they don't want to invest a lot. But with those really cheap instruments, in most cases, they don't play right. It offers a really bad experience and really handicaps the child right from the get-go. Doesn't really give them a chance to do well because the instrument fights them, makes it much harder than it already is going to be for them.
Yeah, they lose interest in it before they even get started.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the instruments that you brought with you
what
today.
You got here?
Yeah, absolutely. So these are actually great examples of some intermediate and professional level instruments. These are ones that when kids play for a couple years or so, they get to a point where they outgrow beginner level instruments, because those are made for beginners. You know, they're made to be more durable than to play the best. So these are the instruments that will allow them to continue to expand their horizons, their ability, continue to grow and develop instead of being limited by a beginner instrument. So it's a really great way to help them continue to build confidence and success, because a lot of these instruments, well, they're going to be made of much better quality material for one thing, and then also some of them are even have extra keys, extra features that just broadens the range that they can play in. So now all of a sudden, not only is there much better materials involved, so it sounds better, and the child's really excited by that, but then now there's notes that, hey, I can play this note now I couldn't play before. So it really continues to build that confidence, which breeds success, and that spills over to the band as a whole. As more kids in the band keep doing that, then it really just begins to build on itself, and that band is really able to perform at a high level when all the students have instruments like these.
Yeah, I mean, these are some of the ones you see the marching bands have on the fields.
Right, absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
So when it is, do you know when it's time then to, hey, this kid's going to stick with this stuff and we need to move on to something else? Where does that come in there?
Most of the time around that 2-year mark is kind of when you get an idea of, okay, this is something they're serious about, they're practicing, they're doing what they need to do to grow. And also the director plays a big part in that too, a large role, because they're with them 2-3 times at least, maybe even sometimes every day, depending on the school situation. So they'll be able to be a really good cue for the parents to say, hey, your child's, they're being limited by their instrument, you need to get them something better so they can keep growing.
I'll tell you, so my experience with Mississippi Music when my daughter was in band is we had questions, you had answers, and you weren't necessarily, well, I'd say most of the time you weren't trying to sell us something. You were trying to answer our questions.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming out today. You're so nice to be here.
My pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
Full of information.
It's been exciting.
And now let's send it over to Ken and get a look at our weather.